Everyone, welcome to channel Qtomation. In last lesson, we have started with Git and GitHub introduction. So in last session, we have seen what is version control system, what is the importance and need of version control system, etc. Today we will see about architecture of Git, and also we will see what are the various stages of code flow, that is Git workflow. So Git is a distributed version control system. In last session, we have already seen types of version control systems like local version control system, centralized version control system, and distributed version control system. So Git is distributed version control system. A distributed version control system allows every developer to have full copy of the project, including its entire history on their local machine. Changes can be made locally and they can be pushed or pulled from other repositories. So in last lesson, we have already seen in details how the flow works. So in distributed version control system, every developer, whoever is working, developer, it can be a developer or it can be a tester, whoever is writing the code, they maintain the local copy in their workspace. Workspace means working copy, where they will actually write the code, they will modify the code, etc. And along with that working copy, they will also have one local repository in their local system. That is a Git repository. And they can work offline in that repository. They can take the file from that local repository. They can make the changes. They can commit the files into the local repository. They can update the file in their working copy from local repository, etc. And after once in a while, they will also push the code from local repository to remote repository. So from local repository, they will push the code to remote repository. Remote repository is nothing but a GitHub repository. Remote repository, we will be studying about GitHub repository. That will be centralized, that will be distributed version control system server. So that is a common repository for all the developers. So every developer will have the working copy and local repository in their system. Each and every developer will have that, and they can take the latest code from remote repository. So that is a high level we have seen in last session. Today we will see in more detail what exactly the architecture looks and how the workflow in the Git. So if you see the architecture of Git, it is mainly divided into four parts. First one is working directory. Working directory refers to the local files and folders on your computer that reflect the current state of the project you are working upon. So whatever project you are working on, you will have some code files, you will have some folders, you will write the code, you will modify the code. All those files will be present in your working directory, or it is also known as workspace. It is where you can view, modify, add and delete the files. And these files which are present in the working directory are known as untracked files. Second part is staging area or index area. If you see here, index area or staging area is a layer between working copy and repository, that is local repository. So it comes in between local repository and working copy. So whatever code we are writing, whenever we are committing that code to local repository, that is Git repository, before that we have to add that code into staging area or index area. So staging area or index area, it is a temporary area where you prepare and organize changes before committing them into local repository, that is Git repository. And from working directory, how we can add the file into the staging area? By using add command. So by using add command, we can add all the files from working directory to staging area or index area. We can use git add command and it will move the files from working directory to staging area, which basically acts as snapshot of the working directory. And once you satisfied with the changes in the staging area, then we can commit those files to local repository. So this is basically a Git repository. So if you understand it, local repository, staging area, index area, and working directory, all these three components are present in the local system only. So before committing the files to Git repository, that is local repository, it comes into the staging area or index area. And we can use commit command to move the changes from staging area to local repository. And the third part is local repository. So what is the local repository? The local repository is where the actual Git history is stored. So once files are committed, they become part of the local repository. From staging area, we can use commit command to send the files to local repo, that is also known as a Git repository. And after committing, your changes are now part of repository's history and it can be pushed to a remote repository. That is a fourth component. So if you see, after your code is there in local repository, if you see the previous diagram again, all the local repositories of the developers, they can push the code into remote repository. A remote repository is basically GitHub repository. It is common for all the developers. So whenever other developer wants the latest changes, they can simply pull the code from remote repository. They can pull the code from remote repository into their local repository and then they can work on that latest code. So they will again modify the code, they will change some code and then they will move that code from working copy to staging area, and from staging area that code will be committed to local repository, and from local repository they can push that code into remote repository, that is GitHub repository. The files which are present in the working directory, those are untracked files. And once you add those files into the staging area, those files are basically tracked files. From staging area, we commit the file to local repository and those becomes the committed files. And these committed files we can push into remote repository, that is GitHub repository, by using push command. And those are the files which would be available for all the developers in remote repository. And in remote repository, we can also create different type of branches as well. So remote repository is a typically hosted on platform like GitHub, GitLab or Bitbucket, etc. It's where multiple developers push and pull their changes to store their work, or they can share that work as well. So if one developer is working, he has pushed the code to remote repository and other developers can also pull that code from that remote repository. So it will be containing the code from all the other developers as well. They can pull the code into their local repository and they can work upon it. After committing the local repo code, changes can be pushed to the remote repository so other developers can also access them. We can use push command to push the developer, push the code, to push the local changes from local repo to remote repository. We can also take clone of the remote repository. So for example, if you don't have any local project, you can, and if you want the project which is present on the remote repository, you can simply clone that repository and automatically it will clone that entire remote repository in your local repository. Or simply you can pull the code as well. So you can pull the code and it will fetch the changes from the remote repository and merges that code into your current branch. And various type of branching and merging will also happen on remote repository. So in the remote repository, a new branch is often created. So whenever developers are working, they will not merge their code or they will not push their code directly into the master branch. So we can have different type of branches. Branch is basically a separate set of code which is a copy of master branch. So it will contain all the code from master branch, but it is not actually the master branch. So if one developer is working on some feature, he will create a new branch and then he will push that code into that new branch first. And a new branch is often created to work on a specific feature. It can be a bug fix or it can be some experiment without affecting the main branch. That branching allows the developers to create separate lines of development and they can work upon it. And once everything is tested, everything is working fine, then they can merge those branches. So they can merge and combine the changes from one branch into another branch. When merging, sometimes Git might encounter the conflicts as well, especially if two developers have edited the same file or lines. So Git attempts to merge changes automatically, but when it cannot merge those changes, it will show some conflicts. And in such situation, the merge process can be completed. So we have to do merging process in such situation where there are conflicts. So this is the high level overview of Git workflow and different components. So let's understand and let's revise one more time. So architecture of Git is basically contains 4 components. First one is working directory. Working directory is basically refers to the local files and folders on your computer that reflect the current state of the project you are working on. In working directory, you can view the code, we can modify the code, you can add new code, and you can delete the code as well. And initially these files are untracked files in working directory. If you see in working directory, the files are untracked files. And working directory is present in local machine. So once after the working directory, you can add those files to staging area. Staging area is basically a temporary area where we prepare and organize the changes before committing them into the local Git repository. And we can use git add command on the files to go into the staging area, which acts as a snapshot of the working directory. And once you are satisfied with the changes in the staging area, you can commit them into the Git local repository. It is basically a layer between working directory and local Git repository. If you see, from working directory, we can add those files into staging area by using git add command, and this becomes now tracked files. And from staging area, we can commit those files into local repository. So local repository is where the actual Git history is stored. And we can commit the file from staging area to local repository. They becomes the part of local repository. And after committing, your changes are now part of the repository's history and can be pushed to a remote repository. So after your changes are there in the local repository, we can push those files into remote repository, that is GitHub repository. It is a common repository. GitHub is a remote repository and files will be pushed into remote repository from local repository. We can also take the pull from the remote repository to our local repository. Whenever you want the latest code, you can simply take a pull of the remote repo code into your local repository. So that is a remote repository part. So remote repository is typically hosted on platform like GitHub, etc. And it's where the multiple developers can push and they can pull the changes to share their work. After committing to the local repository, changes can be pushed to the remote repo so others can also access them. There are multiple commands. For example, we can use push command to push the local changes to the remote repo. And we can use pull command to fetch the changes from the remote repo and merge them into your current branch. Fetch command can be also used to download the changes from the remote repo to your local repo without integrating them. So this detailed operation we will see in coming sessions, but just understand the architecture on high level. Also in remote repository, there would be a branches and merging will happen in remote repo. So whenever developers are working, for example, there can be multiple developers who are working. So let's say this developer is working on feature 1. This developer is working on feature 2. So what they will do, they will create a new branch. They will create a new branch and they will make changes in that new branch first. They will push the code changes into remote repository but not in the master branch or main branch. They will create a new separate branch which would be exactly replica of the master branch, and they will push their changes into that branch first. So it will not affect main branch in that case. So they will push their code, they will test everything, and if everything is fine, then only they will merge their code into main branch. So this is how the overall architecture of Git and GitHub. So branching and merging will also happen in that. So it provides lots of flexibility to developers to work freely and to work faster by using Git and GitHub. So these are basically distributed version control system. So we have seen overall architecture of Git and GitHub, that is remote repository. So basically working directory, staging area and local repository. These three parts are present in our local machine. It is present in the developer's local machine itself. They can work offline within these three components. And once the code is present into local repository, they can push that code into remote repository, and that requires a network. They can push the code and they can also pull the code. They can take the latest code from remote repo to their local repository. So this is a continuous process. So this is basically continuous process which happens in the project. In the coming session, we will see installation about Git and GitHub. If you like this video, please share your comments, subscribe to my channel for more such videos because that motivates me. Thank you everyone.